everybody. Happy holidays to you. It's the weekend before the Christmas holiday, and we're going to take a couple of pork butts and we're going to prep them tonight. And then in the morning, we're going to put them in the smoker, and then once they are done, we're going to have some pulled pork, and we're going to divvy up the pork into 5 vacuum sealed packages, and we're planning on giving these to some coworkers on Monday for a little holiday gift that they might enjoy. First thing we're going to do is we're going to inject the butts with a pork injection solution. Got the recipe up on the screen. You can see that it's basically a combination of apple juice, water, sugar, salt, and Worcestershire sauce. I can never say that properly. Um, we're going to inject that as evenly as possible with the solution. And once that is done, we're going to apply a little bit of mustard, and mainly using that as an adherent for the rub that we've got together. As you saw in the recipe, the rub itself I mixed up yesterday, and that is made up of some dark brown sugar, some white sugar, some paprika, garlic salt, some kosher salt, a little bit of chili powder, some oregano leaves, a little bit of cayenne pepper, some ground cumin, and some black pepper. After applying the mustard, we're going to put a generous coating of that rub onto all portions of the pork butt. And after we do that, we're going to wrap them up in plastic wrap and put them in the refrigerator overnight. We're going to probably get up pretty early and put these on the smoker, but we do want them to be able to marinate in the injection and rub combination for at least 4 to 5 hours. Going back to the pork injection, I did inject the butts on both sides. And then, as you can see, we're going to be applying a good coating of mustard. Not heavy, just enough to coat it so that we can be sure that the rub that we apply is going to adhere real well, because we do want a nice, solid, even coating of rub all the way across on all sides of the pork butts. Moving on to the application of the rub, you definitely want to make sure you're very generous with the rub and make sure that you cover all surface area of the pork butt. I would, however, make sure that you do reserve some of that rub so that when you unwrap these butts and take them out of the plastic wrap just before you put them into the smoker, that you have enough rub left so that you can reapply some of that rub onto the pork butt. I just find that a fresh coating of rub at that point really enhances the crust and really makes that flavor really pop when you do get a nice piece of that bark. Once we finish applying the rub and get these wrapped up, we're going to, of course, put them in the refrigerator overnight. We did mention that we do want a good at least 3 to 4 hours in time to marinate them. A little longer wouldn't hurt anything. Um, we're going to set the alarm clock a little early. We're going to catch some shut-eye, but we want to get up early and get these into the smoker, as we do have some family obligations tomorrow, and it may affect the way we handle things at the tail end of this cook. We'll just have to wait and see. Wow, it's a cold one this morning. It's about 10 degrees. Um, we do have the smoker going, and we've got it up to about 240 degrees. Um, Not too much wind, so I don't see any problems with the weather really affecting our ability to maintain temperature on the smoker. I've got it loaded with some hickory and got some good smoke going. I am using the Maverick ET73 remote thermometer, so I don't have to freeze my behind off by standing outside checking temperatures as we go through, other than putting some wood on the smoker to keep the smoke going. It should be a fairly easy process. So we're going to get these pork butts onto the smoker. As you can see on the display of the remote thermometer, our smoker temperature went down from 240 all the way down to 155. That should recover pretty quickly. The internal temperature of the meat is the number shown on top of the display, currently reading at 49 degrees, as we did take that just out of the refrigerator and it came up a little bit before we put it in the smoker, but that's where we're at, and we are looking to get that temperature up to 160 degrees, at which point I plan on wrapping these butts in foil, um, which should speed up the process a little bit and get us to a final temperature of about 197 for the internal temperature of the meat before we start pulling. Actually, we're going to let them rest for a couple hours and then we're going to start pulling the meat and packaging it up after that. We're at about the 3 hour mark of this cook, and you can see our temperature inside the smoker. We've got it stabilized now. It is bouncing a little bit around between 242 and 246, and that's a reasonable temperature to keep things at. The meat temperature, the internal temperature of the meat is up to 119 degrees, and things are looking good, going in the right direction. So we're looking for that 160 mark, and then we're going to foil them and go from there. Okay, we're into the 6th hour of this cook. I have increased the temperature of the cooker up to a little over 270 degrees. We're just about at that point where we're going to pull these butts out of the smoker and wrap them in foil. Once we do that, we're going to uh, put them back into the smoker wrapped in foil and increase the temperature a little bit further still up to about 305, 310. And then once we get to 197 degrees for the internal temperature of the meat, we're going to pull them out of the smoker, let them rest for a couple hours, and then proceed to pulling this pork in preparation for the packaging step. Okay, it's been about 6.5 hours, and we pulled the butts out of the smoker. That's what you can see in this photo here, and they look exceptional. Um, I'm going to go ahead and wrap them in foil, like we had said, and then we're going to crank the smoker up to about 305 and put the butts back in to finish them off for an internal temperature on the meat at 197. As soon as that happens, we're going to pull them out, let them rest for a couple hours, and then we're going to pull them and package them. And the next photo you see will be the finished product. Wow, it never ceases to amaze me at the quality and of the meat and the flavors that I've been able to get out of a simple gas smoker in my own backyard. Um, Really, in Nebraska where I live, there are some decent barbecue places, but I've been able to produce quality meats that rival anything that I've been able to see in a restaurant here locally. The flavor of this was just out of sight. I really recommend this recipe to anybody that's looking to do some pulled pork. Well, that's going to wrap it up for the pulled pork video. Keep an eye on YouTube for more videos in the future, and keep checking smokeandgrill.com, and we will see you soon.